The ground trembles, not with the distant footfalls of a true tyrant lizard, but with the earth-shaking rage of a cornered mountain. The Triceratops bull, a titan of horned frustration, bellows a sound that rips the air. A spear thrown from an atlet sticks high on its bony frill, useless. Another has gouged a long, bleeding furrow along its flank. It is wounded, angry, and its entire being is focused on the small, two-legged creatures dancing just beyond the reach of its 3-foot horn. The Riverstone clan moves like a pack of wolves, a fluid, desperate organism. Young Ren darts in from the side, a feint to draw the beast's massive head. The chief, old Bor, directs the flow with sharp cries, his voice a frayed rope against the dinosaur's roar. But the center of the storm, the killing point of the spear, is Grak. Grak is built like a boulder. His shoulders are a slab of muscle, his legs thick trunks of power. He does not dance, he plants his feet and waits. He sees the moment old Bor creates for him. As the bull turns its head to gore Ren, its neck is exposed for a heartbeat. Grak's spear, a heavy shaft tipped with an obsidian blade he nabbed himself, is not thrown. He lunges. He drives the point deep into the soft flesh behind the frill, using his entire body weight as leverage. The spear shaft snaps. The bull screams, a gargled wet sound, and stumbles. It takes 2 more spears from the others before it finally crashes to the ground, its fall shaking the very stones. The hunt is over, victory. But, as the clan gathers around the carcass, the relief of survival quickly coalesces. Grak shoves Ren aside, who is panting, his arm bleeding where a horn grazed him. The heart is mine, Grak grunts. It is not a request. He slices into the still warm flesh, his flint knife moving with brutal efficiency. He takes the liver too, the organ prized for its richness. He claims the choice cuts from the underbelly, tossing the sinewy leg meat toward the others. Old Bor watches, his face a tight mask of disapproval, but he says nothing. Grak is their best hunter. He is the reason they eat meat instead of grubs. To challenge him is to risk the clan's main source of protection and sustenance. And so they watch in silence, a community held hostage by the strength of one. From the edge of the clearing, sharpening a hide scraper, Elanai observes. She is not a hunter. Her strength is not in her arms but in her eyes. She watches the other hunters lower their gazes as Grak takes more than his share. She sees the mothers pull their children closer, a gesture of instinctual fear. And she watches Grak himself. She notes the way he puffs out his chest after the kill, the way he throws his shoulders back in an exaggerated swagger as he carries his prizes away. He is proud of his strength, vain. He sees himself as a god among these lesser people. The clan is full, but the victory tastes like ash. The shadow of the horned skull is long, but the shadow of Grak, their savior and their tyrant, is longer still. The sire is the clan's heart, and tonight, its beat is sullen and slow. The smell of roasted Triceratops meat should be a scent of celebration, but it is soured by resentment. Grak sits apart, gnawing on a massive rib, the grease shining on his chin in the firelight. He watches the others eat their toughest, smaller portions, his gaze a constant reminder of his power. The silence is heavy, broken only by the crackle of burning wood and the nervous cough of a child. This is the way it has been for many moons. A successful hunt brings food, but it also feeds Grak's tyranny, tightening his grip on the clan's morale. Fear is the seasoning on every meal. Elanai watches him from her place near the fire tenders. She sees the subtle shifts in the clan's posture when he looks their way, the way they make themselves smaller. She understands that a spear cannot fix this. A spear would only lead to a bloody fight, and Grak would likely win, leaving them weaker and more broken than before. The problem is not his strength, but their fear of it, and fear, she realizes, is a story the mind tells itself, so she will tell a different story. She waits until Grak is absorbed in tearing the last ligaments from his bone. Then, in a voice just loud enough to cut through the quiet, she begins. I saw a strange thing today, at the edge of the river. The children look up, their eyes wide. Storytelling is the domain of the shaman, a connection to the world of spirits and great ancestors, a form of shamanism understood. But Elena's voice is different. It is not mystic, it is grounded, conversational. I saw a young velociraptor. A few of the hunters tense at the name. Raptors are a plague, intelligent and swift. But Eleni smiles. He was not hunting. He was practicing. She pauses, letting the strange idea settle. He had killed a small lizard, and he was very proud. He stood over it, and he puffed up his chest, so big Eleni gets to her feet. In the flickering firelight, she puffs out her narrow chest, mimicking a bird, but her movements are an exact, smaller, echo of JRAK's earlier swagger. A few people notice the similarity. Renza's dart from Illinois to GRAK and back again. A nervous smile touches his lips. And he walked, Illinois continues, her voice gaining a playful rhythm. She takes a few steps, throwing her shoulders back, swinging her arms in an absurdly wide arc. Like this. So proud of his big, strong legs. He walked back and forth, looking at his shadow to see how big and strong he was. She takes another clumsy, swaggering step and pretends to trip over a stone, catching herself with a comical squawk. A child giggles, a pure, sharp sound that cuts the tension. The child's mother hushes him instantly, but the spell of fear is broken. An older woman hides a laugh behind her hand. GRAK stops chewing. His head comes up, his eyes narrowed. He looks at Illinois, then at the faces around the fire, now alight with a strange new emotion. He can hear the laughter bubbling just beneath the surface. But what can he do? She is telling a story about a stupid raptor. Is he to rise and declare that he is the raptor? To punish them for laughing at the caricature? He is trapped by her cleverness. For the first time in his life, GRAK is confronted with a weapon he cannot smash with a rock or gore with a spear. Illinois sits back down, her story finished, but the first joke has been told. Laughter, quiet and dangerous, now echoes in the silence he once owned. The next hunt is different. They track a herd of hadrosaurs. It is an easier hunt, less dangerous than the Horned Titan, but GRAK is a storm of frustrated energy. He bellows commands, shoving the younger hunters into position with unnecessary force. But his authority is frayed. When he puffs his chest out to berate Ren for a misplaced step, Ren doesn't flinch. Instead, he shares a quick, knowing glance with another hunter, who bites back a smile. The poison of ridicule has done its work. GRAK feels it, this invisible web of mockery that he cannot tear apart. His physical dominance remains, but the awe that once surrounded it has vanished, replaced by something far more corrosive: contempt. The true test comes back at the camp. After the kill is divided, more equitably this time, under the watchful eye of old BOR, who senses the shift in power, GRAK stomps to the fire, expecting his usual deference. Instead, he finds Illinois in the middle of another story. This one is about a great cave bear who was so strong he could move boulders, but so greedy he tried to carry all the winter berries back to his cave at once. She mimics the bear, her arms wrapped around an imaginary pile of berries, her face a mask of straining avarice. She staggers, her steps comically wide, her expression a perfect blend of pride and stupidity, until she trips over her own feet and tumbles, sending the imaginary berries scattering into the dirt. This time, the laughter is not suppressed. It erupts, a full-throated, communal roar of release. It is a cleansing fire, burning away moons of fear and resentment. Every hunter, every mother, every child is laughing, not just at the clumsy bear in the story, but at the tyrant in their midst. GRAK stands frozen, the meat in his hand forgotten. The laughter washes over him, a force more powerful than a charging bull. It strips him of his menace, leaving him exposed and ridiculous. These Homo sapiens he once dominated with a glare, and sees not fear, but pity. He could roar. He could charge in and smash the fire, beat the storyteller, crack skulls until they fall silent. But what would that prove? Only that the clumsy, greedy bear was in fact him. His rage has no target. His strength is useless. Defeated, he turns his back on the fire. He walks away from the heart of the clan and sits alone in the darkness. He still has his strength, his spear, his piece of osteodontocratic technology. But he has lost his power. The clan's laughter follows him, a tangible barrier he cannot cross. In the firelight, Obi-Oa nods slowly at Elanai. A new law has been written into their social DNA tonight, not on stone, but in the shared memory of derision. They have discovered a profound truth of human evolution. A tyrant can survive a spear, but no authority can survive being turned into a joke. The social bond has been reforged, and it is now strong enough to tame even the strongest among them. This was the birth of a power uniquely human. In a world ruled by gigantic claws and armor-plated skulls, these early humans discovered a weapon forged not of flint, but of wit. The taming of Grak was not just the humbling of a bully. It was the dawn of social accountability. It was the moment our ancestors learned that the collective voice, sharpened to a point of ridicule, could regulate the most dangerous force they knew, unchecked human ego. This act of intellectual rebellion was a greater leap than the first thrown spear. It established that a clan's survival depends not on the strength of its strongest member, but on its ability to control them. This delicate, dangerous dance of power and shame, of dominance and satire, became the invisible architecture of all future societies. It is the ghost in our machine, the ancient instinct that makes us laugh at the powerful and question authority, ensuring that no one person can ever truly stand above the judgment of the tribe. Look closely, and you will see Grak's shadow lingering behind every throne. And from the frozen north, the first whispers of a new threat arrive, a creature that wears the snow as a cloak and hunts in the silence of the long night.